Seeing as now I've made it my mission to be amazing at Hearthstone, I feel like I need to do as much research as possible. And I was just doing some research and I came across this video and I was like, I should probably share this with people. I'm sure people have seen this if you've watched this kind of content before, but this is going to be my reaction, kind of pseudo live uh, reacting to what is being said in this video because we're trying to be amazing at this game.
Chances are your mindset is what's holding you back from becoming a greater player. For example, imagine that you're the last alive on your team trying to pull off a clutch play to save the game. Your teammates go silent, watching and hoping that you can pull through while the enemy slowly closes in on you. Or imagine a different situation. You're one ranked game away from losing your rank. You're about to be demoted and you're trying desperately to pull yourself out of a losing streak. Now, in both of these situations, your mindset makes the huge difference between you playing to your full potential or you completely choking under pressure. And even as you rack up more experience, achieve higher levels of performance, and get closer to that pro scene, your battle with stress, anxiety, and your own mindset won't fully go away. Imagine, as an example, going from playing online at home to suddenly playing in front of thousands of spectators. Or imagine going from being the top of your leaderboard and always the top of your team in ranked games to joining a semi-pro team where you're suddenly bottom fragging and struggling to prove yourself. And according to Dr. K from Healthy Gamer, many gamers are unprepared for this kind of stressful situation of being elite among their local gaming communities to then being average or below average among their peers once they turn pro. And without the right mindset, this stress can cause you to crack under the pressure once you've finally made it to the top, causing you to then mess up your only shots at the pro scene. So, whether you're battling to maintain your spots on a semi-pro team, trying to hold yourself together during an online tournament, or just fighting to get that clutch victory in a ranked game, then the pressure will be highly distracting. And the harsh reality is that if you don't learn how to handle that.
Wow. I feel like this applies to more than just gaming. Maybe that's just like life in general. You know, these type of things seem to apply always. Like mindset really does determine your next move, or lack of like mindset. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like the lack of understanding the weight of the situation. Sometimes I'm able to this is like in my work life, like I've been in some very, very stressful situations and I've been able to disassociate from the actual situation and just perform the task at hand. Um, and so I feel like being able to do that, allowing yourself to disassociate from the stress of the situation, is something that can help in these type of situations.
That kind of pressure, you'll lose more ranked games, struggle in those tournaments, and fail under the weight of your own team as you try to make it towards that pro scene. So then, how do you manage your stress and mindset to keep you focused despite your nerves? Imagine you're underperforming in a stressful game. If a teammate then starts to flame you saying, "What are you doing? Why aren't you playing better?" Well, chances are it's going to affect your mindset and make you a little more stressed. But what if another teammate says, "No worries, man, just focus on the next round, you got this"? Well, that will affect your psyche as well, but in a vastly different direction. Now, of course, it is hard to control how others speak to us in a game. But what is easier to control is how we speak to ourselves. And so, sports psychology says that one of the best ways to encourage ourselves and boost our mindsets is by developing a self-talk strategy. Now, that idea of talking to yourself seems a little weird, but in reality, you already have a voice in your head that's expressing your thoughts.
Got you. So become crazy and talk to ourselves in third person. Understand that will help with the stress of the situation. Might not help in overall life, but it will help with the stress of a situation if you're trying to grow or get better at sports or cards or strategy or anything. Got it. Understand. Next.
and opinions. You already have these sort of internal conversations, whether you're really aware of them or not. In fact, estimates suggest that we talk to ourselves at a rate of 400 words per minute. Yet most of us don't really think about how we talk to ourselves. Now, to really highlight this, let's look at some really fascinating information discovered outside of esports and pull it back so that can help you in your potential pro career. And so, in 2012, a group of researchers administered a self-talk plan to a group of swimmers and measured their performance results over the course of 10 weeks. They then compared those results with swimmers of a similar age and skill level who did not use a self-talk plan. Now, both groups of swimmers showed performance improvements. The swimmers who didn't work on their self-talk improved their results by 0.05% over the course of 10 weeks. But the group who used their self-talk plan improved by 1.43%. Now, that doesn't sound like a giant difference on the surface, 1.43% versus 0.05%. But in reality, that's actually a 30 times higher number. But swimming isn't the only...
I wonder, see, whenever people quote studies like this, I wonder the more specific details about it. Like, you know, it could have been like numbers that move that small could be skewed by like outliers. Like there could be 2 people that it really, really affected that caused the jump to another level, while 8 of the 10, you know, had that same 0.05% increase. So like, I guess I wish I seen or like heard a little bit more details about the study, because it could be, you know, 1 or 2 people that, like how many of those people that were in the self-talk one research group, how many of those people improved? Was it every single person improved, or was it, you know, 20% improved? Was it which percentage improved? Or like, I feel like you need to know that information as well.
Only area where we've seen these kind of benefits. In a similar study done at the University of Thessaly, a group of tennis players were put together into a group and researched in a similar way. Now, the group of players that used a self-talk plan ended up performing 13 times better than the other group after just 1 week. They also reported having self-confidence scores 3 times higher than the other groups. And we can even go back as far as 1977 to find a Pennsylvania State University article that suggested that competitors who qualified for the Winter Olympics used self-talk more often than those who didn't qualify. And the same study showed that athletes who used self-talk more often were able to lower their anxiety levels twice as quickly as those who didn't. Now, it's crazy to me, given all of this scientific evidence, that so little is taught to aspiring gamers when it comes to this crucial skill. Given the huge boost in performance that good self-talk plans offer, it's a no-brainer for you to start developing one for yourself, and to start doing so today. Now, the first step to put this into action for yourself is to overcome the barrier that prevents most from improving their self-talk. Now, that issue is that your self-talk is so automatic that you probably don't even recognize what is being said in your own mind. So, how can you know whether your conversations are positive and helpful or not if you don't even recognize what's being said? But to overcome this, you simply need to begin by building that awareness. So next time that you play an intense match or practice a round, pay close attention to that voice inside your head. Then write down notes of some of the things that you're saying to yourself, particularly in situations when you lost, got killed, or made a costly mistake. Then ask yourself whether most of those statements that you said in your mind were helpful, harmful, rational, realistic, or true. And as you work on your awareness, you'll begin to notice patterns of negative self-talk. Amid high-pressure games, we naturally become a little emotionally invested in that experience. But unfortunately, highly emotional states can cause us to think quite irrationally, which is why it's easy to sometimes say things to ourselves like, "Oh man, I'm useless," or "Why do I bother playing if I'm so bad?" And these negative statements are quite harmful to your performance. But
I don't know if I've ever said any of those things to myself. Just like, because of a game or because of a sport or I don't know. Don't know where I was going with that. I just don't know if I've ever really said those things to myself because I wasn't performing how I wanted to perform in any aspect of life.
Problem is that it's hard to stop the emotion once it's already starting to flow. Instead, you need to prepare your mind so that your emotions don't trigger negative self-talk, but rather more productive self-talk. Here's an example of some affirmations you can use the next time that your confidence dips and you need a little self-talk boost. The first statement could be something like, if I don't do well this game, I can still keep improving. Or the next game can be better. Or if I've won before, I can win again. Or even, I'm smart enough to figure out how to be better. Now, these statements work because they follow a specific criteria of being realistic, true, rational, and helpful. But while this is a good start, just saying positive things to yourself doesn't always work. When you're ready to take the next level, the next step towards your self-talk strategy, you'll need to start using a more advanced tactic. And to do this, begin by dividing a sheet of paper into 3 columns, labeling the first column your unhelpful thoughts. In this column, you'll of course list out all the unhealthy things that you say to yourself while you're in the heat of battle. The 3 unhealthy.
All right, so basically, that's the premise of the whole video, I'm assuming, is just have kinder, gentler words for yourself in your own head and stop tearing yourself down if you're not performing to the level in which you're holding yourself to. I'll jump ahead a little bit here. Make sure it's not anything I'm missing after that.
Is to keep yourself positive and confident. Keep my focus and trust myself. And the third will be, I'm a great teammate. The emotions from their evidence for this, and when we're feeling low, you can basically reprogram your minds, and you can make sure to take the time to really sit down for a few minutes and memorize what you did in these 3 columns. It will help you to really sink that into your subconscious.
All right, yeah. I feel like it's just beating a dead horse at this point. I get it, it wants you to. It's a very catchy hook and like thumbnail and everything, but I don't know. It's like good. It's one of those things that I like have a trouble with on a lot of levels, is because it sounds good in like in people's mind, right? It makes people feel good. Oh, I just need to, talk nicer to myself and I'll perform better and this, that, and the other. And like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, I have a very different, I guess, thought process when it comes to stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety are things that, one, you place on yourself because you have a standard of how you either want to be perceived or a standard from which you want to live up to. So I feel like these affirmations are just a way to bring down that standard that you have in your head of how you want to play or how you think you need to play. So not that this doesn't work, but I feel like the other ways to overcome anxiety and stress are to simply be more prepared. Like if you're like, the only reason that you ever are stressed in life is because you feel underprepared for whatever situation you're entering. Say if you got a quiz at school, if you're not prepared for that quiz, you're going to be extremely nervous and like you're going to have an extreme amount of anxiety about that quiz. But if you had studied for 2 weeks leading up to that quiz, you've taken all the pop quizzes, you've taken all the practice tests, and you've gotten 100 on every single one, are you really going to feel stressed to the same, I guess, like you might feel a little bit nervous, I guess, because you want to pass it, but you're going to feel a lot more confident going into it. And I mean, that's at the end of the day what it all boils down to, is confidence, and confidence is just derived from being prepared. So the more prepared you are, the more confidence you're gonna have in whatever thing you're doing, and the better you're going to perform. So, um, yeah, I don't know. This video was interesting. I don't think I'm going to watch the rest of it, but hopefully you guys took something away from it, and hopefully it helps somebody. Other than that, love y'all. Peace.